Hello and welcome back to the Cube Counselor. Um, yeah, we don't have a cube this week. We need to talk about some things here on the show. I'm going to do a little bit more of just a quick episode. I'll be honest, I try to be open on this show and talk about magic and all that goes along with it as far as mental health. Um, and there's been a lot of negativity in the magic community recently. Um, and although I'm not as heavily invested in other formats. I know people have been very upset about exclusive cards and um, what they feel is poorly designed cards in certain formats and all kinds of issues around that. But for myself, I haven't been having as much time to play Cube. The last Cube that was up was the Modern Cube, so hopefully you all enjoy that on MTGO. I don't historically enjoy Modern Cube. I've only been playing for a few years, so I've only played it a few times. But um, every time I kind of went to click on it and join, to be honest with you, I jumped into a Zendikar Rising draft. I've really been enjoying that format. Played that quite a few times, and that kind of took up most of my time. So when it came time to record a video, honestly, I'm recording this a little late. I was supposed to have other plans to do something different for the show this week, and that didn't work out. So, a lot of the subjects that we talk about on this show have been coming up. Um, I know that I preach that I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone, but sometimes you have to listen to yourself when it's a little too uncomfortable. And not to say that Modern Cube is that far, but just, the time invested recording something that I wasn't as excited about, I said, you know what? I'm going to listen to my inner self here and say, you know what? Let's close this down. And let's go on to something else. And sometimes you have to say that to yourself. I've been stressed with some other things lately, so the magic that I have been enjoying has been Zendikar Rising Draft, and that's okay. But I didn't want to necessarily record that for the show at this time. So again, I had some other plans. Those didn't work out either. I was going to have a guest on the show, and we hope to have them on soon. But again, just wanting to stay in my regular schedule, thought I would record a video and talk about my thought process. And again, it goes a little bit against what I was saying, but you know what? Life is gray. Life is not black and white. Even though I try my best to get out of my comfort zone, sometimes again I got to listen to my inner voice saying, you know what? Modern Cube you can skip. You're probably going to get beat by J-Bro anyway, who's taking down all the trophies in the world. So congratulations to him on. I think he almost got 50 this time. He might have even got it. So that was fun. I had fun watching him. I had fun watching Caleb and Frank Lepore. I had some success with this cube, and you know what? That was how I enjoyed it this time. Maybe next time I'll be a little more prepared. I'll be in a different mind space. But yeah, I mean, I'll link this article. This is something I recently came across, and sometimes when you're feeling stressed, your hobbies aren't necessarily making you feel like you're relieving from that stress. And again, I won't go into too much. I'm not as heavily invested in the constructed formats that I think people are pretty upset about these exclusive cards being printed into, and again, some other issues with cards that are being created. But hopefully, somebody can find some encouragement in this. And this includes Cube. You know what? If you're not jiving with your playgroup, you're not enjoying what's online, sometimes that evil word that I talked about, avoidance, is okay in those cases. And that, of course, goes into other avenues of your life as well. If you're not enjoying going to concerts and feeling uncomfortable, you want to disengage from that too. Take control of what you can. And in this case, the community's been, a little bit negative lately, and the way I found ways to engage is watching. I'm also part of a group called the Cube Council on Facebook, watching them put some decks together, talk about their process, watching Cube Outside the Box on YouTube. He also goes by JJ the Man Cub on Twitch and watching him do his process. So kind of engaging in that way and finding those I connect with has been much better these last few weeks. Because honestly, I recorded last video a couple weeks in advance, so it's actually been about a month since I sat down to record. So I've had plenty of time to play. And again, just every time I sat down to do it, I said, you know what, this is not what I'm into right now. I'm not feeling it. And then I thought this was a better way. We hadn't done a really focused episode like this, talking about a certain topic. I didn't give it a silly name this time, but hopefully you'll forgive me for that. But the 4A's, you talk about CABs, cards that affect the board state. If you like acronyms in drafting, you'll like this. But to avoid, to alter, to accept, and to adapt is something that sometimes can help you in these moments. Again, I'm kind of applying it, to my enjoyment of Magic, but again, can apply to some bigger things in life too. So again, alter. You know what? I altered. I didn't play Cube, but I still enjoyed it. I still found ways to engage with people who were enjoying it in different ways. Even though I was avoiding it for now, learning to say, no to myself, avoiding what I could, I altered as well. I played a different form of Magic. I've been considering, been researching building a commander deck again, things like that. So I'm still able to engage in the hobby. I accepted that. We've talked about this Radicube acceptance many times. I can't control what cube is up right now. It's the mystery booster cube. If you're not familiar with that, a kind of a curated set over the last 25 years. I don't think the online has the test cards that were in that. If you're familiar with it, you'll have to look it up. Mystery booster draft. Seems like a really cool format. I may jump into that again. Tonight just wasn't the night. I felt like getting this video done last minute. You know what? I didn't want to rush into that. I'll check it out when I'm ready. And adapting again. This might apply, to the bigger things that are going on in the Magic community. If you need to adjust your play group and say certain cards aren't allowed. Another thing that I've been doing recently, as I don't play too much Modern anymore, but I'm in a Discord for the Grimflayer MTG. Great community, awesome people, and he's an awesome host of that channel. And he had a small Modern tournament. I believe it ended up being about 30, 32 people, something like that. And I actually top 8'd for the first time in the 20 years on and off that I've been playing Magic. I've never participated in a tournament and successfully made top 8. I usually play in the smaller Friday Night Magics, things like that. I haven't participated in many, but still, it's my first top 8 in 20 years. So that will actually be live if you're listening to this the first week of October. It's actually going to be live this Sunday, October 11th, on his YouTube channel. That's the Grimflayer MTG. Again, I'll link that in the notes at the bottom. But yeah, so I adapted. My time was spent playing that, and I chatted it up with the persons I was playing. We would talk in Discord before and after and kind of give each other a hard time or encouragement and things like that. That was really enjoyable. As somebody who's disengaged a lot from playing in those kind of tournaments, just because sometimes the reaction from other players can go. I found that it was low barrier to entry. It was low risk. It was a free tournament. They were donating prizes through the group. Stephen Mirabito and the Grimflayer, as he goes by, were donating prizes. So I adapted. I said, you know what? I'm gonna, instead of again playing Cube, it took place over a few days because we had to schedule the games around people's schedules. And after 5 rounds, I was 4-1. I was playing 8 rec just because it was the only deck I had complete or almost complete on MTGO at this point. So it's not the most fun deck. So I spent a lot of time apologizing to my opponents. But yeah, I just adapted. I said, you know what? I don't play Modern often. Let me engage in Magic in this way. And I ended up really enjoying it. I assumed I would go 0-2 and be out of the tournament. But they also had a curated ban list. They did the Modern ban list, plus they banned Veil of Summer and Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, because it is a very mid-range heavy group, and they kind of wanted to play, the decks that they enjoyed, and they felt like those were kind of oppressive cards to it since they've been printed. So they found a way to adapt, and that's kind of how I want to wrap up this video is, um, if you're not enjoying the formats that you're playing, Magic, for some, it is their career, and they have no choice but to engage in it. But for most of us, I would hope that you can find, if you truly do enjoy the hobby, you enjoy the people that you play with, find a way to adjust to the scene that's going on. Certainly, I'm not here to tell people how to feel about it. If you're heavily invested in something, um, again, as a social worker, I would never tell somebody how they can feel. Feelings are what they are. But if your reaction is really hurting your mental health, then that's when you need to step back and say, wait a minute. Again, I went over the 4 A's now. How can I not be so stressed in this moment? How can I take a moment to think a little more clearly before I start, I don't know, selling off my Magic cards or quitting, or I don't know. As far as, I've seen people basically harassing people online, and that's feelings are what they are, but our reactions to it, we are responsible for. So, that's my message for this week. And again, in regards to Cube, it can be the same way. If you're 0-12 in Vintage Cube and just really not enjoying it, maybe you find another way to still enjoy it even if you're not playing. So that is my that is all I want to say about that this week. And I apologize, I should have had this ready, but it is what it is. I'm going to look up here Grimflayer's channel. So this is it, the Battle for the Veil. I'm the 8-rack guy. I'm going to be in this Sunday. So you can see my slide here. There I am. So yeah, that's what I had to say. It was kind of cool. Again, they had us do these little blurbs, and they're going to be streaming on his YouTube. So you see it here, Grimflayer MTG. Go ahead and search that out. Again, I'll put a link. I've been a Patreon of his since he started a little over a year ago. Great channel if you love mid-range. He plays other decks, takes donations too, but he's primarily a mid-range guy. I forgot to like the video, so I'll do that. But yeah, I was pretty excited. I got a little showcase here, so I'm smiling over here, feeling pretty good about that. So you know what? Find those different ways. Find some groups you can connect with. Magic can be played in different ways. You don't. Of course, we all love the formats we love. Again, I love Modern, but was finding I wasn't enjoying it as much. Just the cards that were being printed were pushing out a lot of the decks I liked. So I've been drafting, playing Cube, pretty much only for 6 to 12 months now. So I don't expect everyone to respond in the ways that I do, of course, but I would encourage you, find those ways that you can, even if it means playing another game sometimes. But I appreciate everyone listening today. Again, it's a shorter video, but did want to just get something out given the things that are going on in the community right now. I'm not, exactly a large voice in it, but just want to make sure that I'm continuing to make the content, that I want to see out there, and talk about positivity and ways that we can deal in these stressful times when even our hobbies are giving us stress. Let's find ways to cope with that together. So as I say on the show often, we get better together. So please leave me a comment below. I look forward to those. And let me know. I plan on having guests on soon to kind of take the channel in a little bit different direction. We'll see. Maybe we'll just kind of pepper those in every once in a while. So I look forward to your feedback, and take care.